Joining us now is assistant coach Terry Nashif back in Studio B. Terry, a common theme is developing every time you come on the show. Jerem is generally not here.
He's scared. He's soft. I don't know what it is. The one time he did show, though, we had a contest, and he couldn't make a shot, so makes sense.
And that produced my now favorite Lucky Shooting shirt.
Very important. Very important.
Okay, you just heard my argument that Friday was the biggest win of the season, and you may or may not have very quickly discredited that argument. That's okay. What did you feel, or what do you feel is the best win of the season for BYU basketball?
At Zags would be the best win of the season.
It's so hard to win in Spokane. Is that because you're from the state of Washington, though, too? Is there an added measure?
It may have something to do with their Sweet 16 run.
Oh, that too.
But that was a great win for our guys, and it put us in a really good spot. Winning on Friday was huge just because it's the next game. You got to win to keep playing and to advance. But at Zags would be our best win.
You played a very physical game against Virginia Tech and had a lot of success with it. How pleased were you and the rest of the coaches with the ability to match the physical play from the Hokies?
You know, watching them on film, we knew that they would be tough. They, coming in won 7 of 8. Coach Buzz is an awesome coach. I love watching him on the sidelines. Watching film, it was hard for me to watch one clip one time. I'd keep rewinding and watch him going up and down the sidelines and some of the antics. And I was hoping someone would just put a camera on him for our game in the Marriott Center. But he always has tough guys. They're always successful. And we knew coming in that it would be a physical game. But you can't tell on film exactly how physical. And our guys, responded really well. And, it was a back and forth game the whole time. And we never went away. We just kept coming at them. And then Fish made some huge plays down the stretch.
I loved Kyle Collinsworth's comments after the game where he said, me going through my knee injury, the torn ACL, kind of allowed me to have this new perspective on life, and that is sometimes you don't always get what you want and you're disappointed, but you have to make the most of the opportunities in front of you, and this has been a good one for us, speaking of the NIT. Now you got Creighton on Tuesday. What is it about this team and their ability over at least the last 2 games where while you're disappointed you didn't get in the NCAA tournament, boy, it looks like that you are certainly motivated to keep playing.
I think we're getting better. I think, you watch Long Beach State play Washington in the NIT, and you just go back to that game, and you look at the stat line, and you look at where we were at, and we're getting better. We're getting better and better and better, and that's what you want at the end of the season. That's kind of the characteristic that Coach portrays to his guys, and that's what he's done, is had teams that are playing really well towards the end of the year, and I think we are doing that right now, and so hopefully that will continue. Prepping for, I thought you'd ask, is it better to go to the NIT, the NCAA? I will say that on this day last year, I feel way better today than I did blowing a 17-point lead at halftime. And so let's just go day to day on that, one more game at a time.
Well, you're talking about players playing their best at the right time, and you mentioned Chase Fisher a moment ago, and he's certainly doing that through the 2 games in the NIT. It was our stat of the day. He's averaging 25.5 points in those 2 NIT games. Where has Chase helped this team the most, do you think?
Honestly, is consistency, and that's what you want out of your seniors, and he's been consistent. And it's hard to be consistent when you're primarily a 3-point shooter. Maybe not primarily, but that's the best thing that you do is shoot threes. It's hard to be consistent, especially when you're keyed on, and every night someone's coming after you, a different guy here, a different guy there, and his consistency's been great.
Kyle Collinsworth, another of those seniors. Have you noticed anything different from those guys and Nate Austin in their demeanor as you've entered the postseason or just this season in general of how they lead and what they do in that role?
I think Chase has been the biggest example of that with his consistency and just making big plays and big shots, coming down the stretch, those threes he hit in transition, and then making those free throws and, the drives. And we went to him late a couple possessions in a row, and you could tell that he wanted the ball and he was the guy, and it was good to see down the stretch.
Overall, what do you think the team is doing best right now?
Competing. They're competing. They're competing every possession. And you watch that game against Virginia Tech and coming down, the 8-4 stretch, seems like they were scoring, we were scoring. And then all of a sudden we got 3, 4, or 5 stops in a row, and then that allowed us to win the game. It wasn't like we just kept scoring the whole time or we weren't guarding they're just competing. They're finding a way to win. They're finding a way to get the loose ball. They're finding a way to get the rebound, making a big shot, a tough pass. And you go back to the UAB game, and there was a ton of things that went into that where they make that huge run coming back. And the little things like Zach Selius, the pass he made to Colin to the hoop on a play we call elbow, where he, threw it down in there, and that's a hard pass.
Yeah,
and
I know
a
the
hard
play you're
spot.
talking about.
And, everyone wants to talk about the huge threes he made, but that was a big play too. When he just made that pass, we caught it and finished it. And there was just plays down the stretch of that. Then we find a way to guard, and get a couple stops. And our guys are competing right now. And I think that's what Coach would want people to talk about his teams and say that they compete. And I think they're getting better at that. And that's the best thing we're doing right now.
Yeah, UAB had cut the lead to 4. And I think the play you're referencing put BYU back up 6. It kind of ended their little spurt. And then Zach hit a big 3 later, and BYU goes on to beat UAB and then Virginia Tech. What would it mean to this team to get back to Madison Square Garden in New York City? I know you as a coach, you've been there before, you've done it, you've seen it. Dave Rose says it's one of his favorite memories he's had as a coach, making that NIT run and playing in that venue. But what would it mean to this team to get there after everything you've been through this season?
There's been a lot of ups and downs and a lot of hope and then disappointment, and there's a lot of pressure when every game is kind of getting you to the NCAA tournament or not getting to you. Or that's the way this thing has kind of come down. And now the guys are playing free. They're playing with confidence, and they're playing to win, and they're competing. And it would mean a great deal because it means we won our next game, and then you got a chance to actually go out and win your last game of the season. And that doesn't happen to very many people unless you're on probation or you win the NCAA tournament. So.
Well, your next game is against Creighton tomorrow night. You're going to host them at the Marriott Center. What are you talking to your guys about this Blue Jays team?
They're really good. Defensively, they do a lot of different things. They scout you. They're physical. They're tough. They have a lot of schemes that they're good at. A lot of times teams will have a lot of schemes and they're only good at one, or they're not good at very many. And these guys can guard ball screens 4 or 5 different ways really well. And they'll zone you. They'll press you. They'll coming off ball screens, they'll do a lot of different things that can cause you trouble. And so they'll have us scouted, and they're tough defensively, and we'll have to go at them. And then we need to rebound, and it'd be nice to get to 55. They've only given up 54 points in the first 2 games. They played really well.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Okay. Has BYU played a team like Creighton this season? Anybody that fans could be like, oh, yeah, they kind of play like this team?
They're just a tough team. It's all the good teams that we've played are probably similar to Creighton, but they're good offensively, and they contribute. They share the ball, they distribute it well, and defensively they're just really tough and really good, and they play a little bit faster than you would expect from a really, really good defensive team, and so it should be a great game.
Kalani Sitake, the head football coach of the Cougars, has made quite a few headlines over the last couple of days with his support of the team, showing up at the games, being in the student section. What does that mean to the team that he's been so public with his support?
I think it's awesome. He was in the front row the other night, and Coach was going after our guys a little bit, and Kalani was so pumped, and he's like, yeah, and it's great to have him out, and it's fun to have him there, and I'm a football guy. I love football, so we'll return the favor.
We've talked about this on this show before, but we had somebody else tweet in and say, where does Terry Nashif get his suits? People are impressed with the way that you dress. And again, I've brought this up before. Can you educate the people on where you're getting your suits?
I'd love to. It's Mr. Mac.
Mr. Mac.
Mr. Mac.
Really?
It's the boardroom, and you have to go talk to the Win Boys. Tyler's my guy. And
He's got a guy.
He's my guy.
You got a
Tyler,
suit
go
guy.
ask for Tyler, and they'll tailor them right then. It's usually a couple hours, and they'll get them back to you. And I like the orange tag. They're a little bit slimmer fit, and orange tag Talia. So go in there, ask for the orange tag Talia. They've got some great stuff. And I think most people, when you think of Mr. Mac, you think, oh, it's a missionary suit or something. But no, they know what's going. They've got good style, and Tyler's my guy.
Do you go the 2-pants suit?
Huh?
Is that the 2-pants suit? That's Mr. Mac. That's their special.
No, I'm not into the 2-pants suit. I'm not into the 2-pants suit.
Neither am I, Terry.
I'm just saying that's
But that is. Okay.
I'm telling you, boardroom at Mr. Mac, and ask for the Win Boys.
You got it, man.
He's got a guy.
Great to have you with us. Good luck against Creighton tomorrow. Let's get him some BYU Sports Nation karma before he gets off this set, right? It is being delivered as we speak.